The immigration papers shook in the woman's trembling hands as Jennifer Lopez talked about the strength of Latino women and the courage it takes to chase dreams in America. Ellen was discussing the singer's latest project celebrating Hispanic heritage when she noticed the mother in the third row clutching what looked like official documents while staring at her young son beside her with pure terror. What happened next would prove that sometimes the most important performances aren't on concert stages, but in courtrooms where mothers fight to stay with their children, and that home isn't a place on a map, but wherever your family can stay together. It was a vibrant Wednesday afternoon at the Ellen DeGeneres show, and the studio pulsed with Latin energy. 400 audience members, many from Latino communities across Los Angeles, had gathered to see one of entertainment's most successful Latina icons discuss her latest work. Ellen, radiant in a bold coral blazer with gold accents, was thoroughly enjoying her conversation with Jennifer Lopez, who looked absolutely stunning in a flowing emerald dress, her presence commanding the studio with that blend of fierce determination and cultural pride that had made her a voice for millions of Latino families pursuing the American dream. "Jennifer," Ellen said, leaning forward with genuine enthusiasm, "you've always been so vocal about representing the Latino community in entertainment. What does that responsibility mean to you?" Jennifer's eyes lit up with the passion that had driven her from the Bronx to global stardom. "Ellen, it means everything because I know what it's like to feel invisible, to have people question whether you belong here. When I see young Latina girls in the audience, I want them to know that this country has space for their dreams, their language, their culture, their families." The audience responded with warm applause, many nodding in recognition. This wasn't just celebrity promotion. This was representation that mattered. "And family," Ellen continued, "has always been central to your life and your art. How important is it to you that Latino families feel seen and supported?" "Family is everything," Jennifer said with conviction. "In our culture, family isn't just parents and children. It's grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, the whole community. And when families are threatened, when they're separated, when they live in fear, it breaks something fundamental about who we are as people." That's when Ellen noticed her. In the third row, slightly to the left, sat a woman who appeared to be in her early 30s. She had dark hair pulled back in a tight ponytail and wore a simple black dress that looked like it had been carefully chosen as her very best outfit. Beside her sat a boy who couldn't have been more than 8, with bright eyes and a nervous smile. Her name was Carmen Ramirez, though Ellen didn't know it yet. What caught Ellen's attention was the way Carmen was, staring at Jennifer while clutching what appeared to be official government documents, tears streaming down her face as she looked between the papers and her son with an expression of absolute desperation. Carmen's hands were shaking so badly she could barely hold the documents, and Ellen could see her whispering prayers in Spanish while her son patted her arm, trying to comfort her. Ellen's instincts, refined through 20 years of reading her audiences, told her this wasn't someone moved by inspiration. This was someone facing an immediate crisis that Jennifer's words about family separation had triggered. "Jennifer," Ellen said gently, "hold that thought about families being threatened. I think someone in our audience is living that reality right now." Jennifer followed Ellen's gaze toward Carmen, her expression immediately shifting from entertainer to deeply concerned advocate as she recognized the signs of someone in genuine distress. Ellen stood up from her chair and took several steps toward the audience. "Ma'am, in the third row with the papers, are you okay?" Carmen looked up, terrified by the sudden attention of 400 people and multiple cameras. She clutched the documents tighter and shook her head, trying to make herself invisible while her son looked around with confusion. "I'm sorry," Carmen said in accented English, her voice thick with emotion and fear. I didn't mean to interrupt. It's just what she said about families being separated. Ellen walked down the steps that separated the stage from the audience, something she did only when every instinct told her someone needed immediate help. What's your name, sweetheart? And who is this handsome young man? Ellen asked, now standing directly in front of Carmen's row. Carmen Ramirez, this is my son, Miguel. He's 8 years old. Ellen knelt down in the aisle beside Carmen's row, her coral blazer spreading around her as she created a safe space in what must have felt like terrifying exposure. Carmen, what are those papers you're holding? Carmen's composure cracked completely. Deportation notice, she whispered. I have to report to immigration court next week. They want to send me back to El Salvador, but Miguel, he was born here. He's American. I don't know what happens to him if they take me. The studio fell into that profound silence that happens when hundreds of people confront a family's worst nightmare playing out in real time. From the stage, Jennifer Lopez stood up immediately. Without being asked, without consulting producers, she walked down to join Ellen and Carmen. This celebrity interview had just become something infinitely more urgent. Jennifer approached Carmen with the reverence of someone who understood that this woman represented millions of families living in fear. Carmen? Jennifer said in both English and Spanish. ¿Cuánto tiempo llevas aquí? How long have you been here? 15 years, Carmen replied, switching to Spanish with relief. I came when I was 17, running from violence. I worked 3 jobs, paid taxes, never got in trouble. Miguel is my whole world. Jennifer knelt beside Ellen, creating an intimate circle that included young Miguel, who was now looking between the adults with the kind of fear children develop when they sense their world might disappear. Carmen, Jennifer continued in Spanish, then translated for the audience. I want you to know that what you're going through, it's not right. Mothers should not have to choose between their safety and their children. Ellen felt tears welling in her own eyes as she watched this interaction unfold. Carmen, do you have legal representation? I can't afford a lawyer, Carmen admitted. I clean offices at night and work in a restaurant during the day, but it's not enough for rent and food and lawyers. I've been representing myself, but I don't understand all the legal words. Jennifer's expression had shifted into something Ellen had rarely seen from any celebrity, a fierce maternal protectiveness that transcended entertainment. Carmen, Jennifer said with quiet intensity, I want you to listen to me very carefully. You are not alone in this fight. There are people who will help you, lawyers who specialize in cases like yours, organizations that understand what you're going through. Miguel tugged on his mother's dress and whispered something in Spanish. Carmen's face crumbled as she listened to her son. What did he say? Ellen asked gently. He asked if the pretty ladies are going to help us stay together, Carmen translated, her voice breaking. He's 8 years old, and he knows his mother might disappear. Jennifer reached into her purse and pulled out her personal phone. Carmen, I'm going to do something right now. I'm calling my legal team. They specialize in immigration cases, and they're going to represent you pro bono, no cost to you. Carmen stared at Jennifer in disbelief. But I'm nobody. I'm just a cleaning lady. You are not nobody, Jennifer said firmly, switching back to Spanish and then translating. You are a mother who has worked for 15 years to build a life for her son. You are a taxpayer, a community member, a human being who deserves dignity and protection. Ellen began removing her coral blazer. Carmen, this blazer has been with me through some of my most important interviews. But today it's witnessing something more important than any celebrity story. It's witnessing the courage of a mother who refuses to give up. She placed the blazer around Carmen's shoulders. You wore your best dress to come here today, even while facing the worst fear any mother can imagine. That's not just courage, Carmen. That's heroism. But it was Jennifer's next gesture that brought the entire studio to tears. She knelt down to Miguel's eye level and spoke to him in Spanish. Miguel, tu mamá es muy valiente. Your mother is very brave. And we're going to make sure you stay together because families belong together, no matter what any paper says. Jennifer stood up and addressed the cameras directly, switching seamlessly between English and Spanish. If there are families watching this who are living in fear of separation, who are fighting to stay together, please know that you are not alone. Please know that this country is stronger when families are together. Please know that we will fight for you. The moment that brought the entire studio to sustained applause came when Ellen asked Miguel what he wanted people to know about his mother. Miguel answered in perfect English, his young voice carrying the wisdom of a child who had grown up translating between languages and cultures. My mom works really hard, so I can go to school and have food and toys. She helps other kids in our building with their homework, even when she's tired. She's the best mom in America, and America should want her to stay. Jennifer's composure broke completely at the child's innocent eloquence. Miguel is absolutely right. America should want mothers like Carmen to stay. Within days, Carmen Ramirez had the best immigration attorney in Los Angeles working on her case pro bono, courtesy of Jennifer's legal team. Her case became a spotlight for comprehensive immigration reform, and her deportation was not only halted, but her path to permanent residency was expedited. 6 months later, Carmen and Miguel appeared on The Ellen DeGeneres Show again, but this time Carmen was holding her green card, and Miguel was beaming with pride. Jennifer Lopez, who had stayed personally involved in their case, appeared in person to celebrate their victory and announce the launch of a legal aid fund specifically designed to help families facing deportation. The segment sparked a national conversation about the human cost of immigration policies and the importance of keeping families together. Carmen became an advocate for immigrant rights, speaking at rallies about the reality that behind every deportation case is a family fighting to stay together. Ellen learned that day that her job wasn't to interview famous people about their latest projects. Her job was to create moments where policy became personal, where statistics became human stories, and where the American dream could be preserved for those brave enough to pursue it. Jennifer Lopez learned that the most important performances happen not in front of cameras, but when you use your platform to fight for families who have no voice, no power, and no choice but to hope that someone will stand with them. And Carmen Ramirez learned that sometimes, when you think you're about to lose everything, that's exactly when angels show up speaking your language, understanding your fear, and reminding you that in America, at its best, families belong together. Because the most powerful songs aren't always the ones that top the charts. Sometimes they're the ones that play in immigration courts, where mothers fight to keep their children, where the American dream is defended one family at a time, and where love proves stronger than any border, any law, any force that tries to separate what should never be divided.